Hello everyone, my name is Pris from Prisperuses and welcome to another video. Today I am giving you my August wrap up. So as you can see, I'm in a little bit of a different background. I still have my lovely shelves as background, but I thought I would spruce it up a little bit, and now I am actually standing in front of them instead of me sitting on the couch. This is actually way easier with setup and stuff, so I might just continue with this, and now I can like move around and stuff, so we're good. So in the month of August, I still had a little bit of a slump. August was not a great month for me. I struggled with my mental health and with the summery weather, and it was not a good time, but I still managed to read 9 books, so I'm actually quite proud of that. I'm quite happy with that, and some of these are quite chunky as well, so I'm taking that as a win. Let's dive on in. So the first book that I read in August was To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, and oh my gosh, I gave this 5 stars. I think this is now my favorite book of the year so far. I absolutely loved this with the entirety of my being. I flew through it, and it was honestly the most magical experience, and it got me thinking I should read more sci-fi because I am enjoying sci-fi. I just don't read that much sci-fi. So if you have any recommendations on sci-fi for me, please leave them down below in the comments, because I'm looking for more books like this, because this took my breath away. So this is about Kira, and she comes across this alien relic, and all things go to hell from there, and there is war brewing. This is all about making first contact with like another species, and oh my gosh, this was absolutely wonderfully done. The writing was exquisite. The audiobook was sensationally good. I listened to the audiobook and read along with the book, which I quite do often as of now, because I really like the experience. And for me, the audiobook was like, as somebody was like whispering to me. It was so soft and smooth, and it felt like almost as if I was drifting in a sea of stars. I felt like so lightweight, and it was just honestly, if I was dreaming. That experience was just incredible, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I was just obsessed with this, and I cannot recommend this enough. I also really enjoyed the sci-fi aspect of this. It was sci-fi-ish without it being too complicated. I like got the messages. I understood what was going on. I loved the characters in this. There is also like a found family trope in this, which you know that I absolutely adore. So all in all, this was just exquisite. So fantastic, and yeah, it's now my favorite of the year so far. Then I read 2 of Kristen Hanna's books. I read Firefly Lane and the sequel Fly Away. These were absolute tearjerkers. I read these back to back in a weekend. Maybe I read them not at the exact right moment, because I was feeling very low at the time, and this kinda dragged me down a little bit. But nonetheless, they were absolutely beautiful written. Kristen Hanna has a way with words, and it's just honestly the best thing. She writes so realistically, like all this stuff, you can just feel it happen. You can feel the characters, and it was honestly so good, and I gave these both 5 stars as well. And this is about Kate and Tully. They are very different from one another, but they have an epic friendship throughout the years. There's some betrayal going on, there's some jealousy going on. It was just honestly the bestest thing to see these 2 girls grow up together and see what they were going through together. And you know, they both thought that the other one had it better for different reasons, and it just goes to show that, you know, you might think that the grass is greener on the other side, but you don't know the full context, you don't know the full story. And I thought that was a great message in these books. Another Kristen Hanna, another 5 stars. Honestly, she's becoming one of my favorite authors, so highly recommend. Next up, I read Romanov. This is a Anastasia inspired fairy tale, but with magic. I read this upon recommendation from Sasha, from The Wild Sasha. Unfortunately, I didn't love it as much as she did. I ended up giving it 3 stars. stars. It was really interesting to see. I loved the Slavic vibes and learning about the Slavic culture again, but it felt a little bit flat to me, a little bit one-dimensional. I thought the characters were very bland and they didn't really have like enough personality traits for me. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this as much, but I'm glad I read it because I had it for a very long time and I still had not picked this up. So I'm glad that I read it, but unfortunately this was okay, but I just didn't love it. A book that I absolutely did love in August was Fierce Fairy Tales. These were short stories and poems about fairy tales throughout the ages, but with another twist, from a different point of view, and it was honestly the bestest thing. I don't necessarily like poems, I don't necessarily gravitate towards poem book, but this was exquisite. The audiobook was sensational once again. I think with poems you should go for the audio option if you have it, because the way that it's like spoken makes all the difference in the world. And I absolutely loved this. It's tiny, so perfect for a readathon. It has like about 150 pages. It has some illustrations as well, which were absolutely gorgeous. And I highly recommend that you pick this one up. And I really enjoyed myself with this. Next up, I read Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. Oh my gosh, guys, this was so fucked up and creepy. This is about a haunted house. This is a family that lived there for like, I think not even a month. And then they escaped in the dead of night. And when this happened, Maggie was only 4 years old. And now she is like an adult and she goes back there and things start to happen again, and it's honestly so entirely creepy. If you are afraid of snakes, please do not pick this up, because there is a scene in this involving snakes and it was absolutely terrifying to the bone. I was like, oh my god, I could not read this at night. I thought I was gonna have nightmares. I didn't, luckily. But this was really good. Another Riley Sager that I absolutely enjoyed. I didn't love it as much as Last Time I Lied. That is still my favorite Riley Sager, but I gave this a very solid 4-star because I really enjoyed this. Next up, we have Not a Happy Family. This is my second Shari Lapina book that I read, and I really enjoyed this once again. I think it's kind of the same concept as her other book that I read, which was Someone We Know. It's very much the same concept of being a white suburban neighborhood where things are going on and you think they have it all together with the white picket fences and the perfect families, the perfect children and the perfect jobs and stuff like that. But behind the scenes there is a lot of stuff going on. This is kind of the same concept. This is about a very rich family. The parents get murdered. There are 3 children involved with their spouses. There is something going on with the inheritance, which gives some people motives to do things. And it kept me guessing and turning. And the actual reveal didn't shock me, but the way it was done did, and I thought that was absolutely brilliantly done. I thought that gave it like an extra dimension. I thought the ending was sensational, was so good. It was a very open ending. And yeah, I really enjoyed this and I gave this 4 stars. Next up, I read Middle Game by Shauna McGuire. This was a reread for me. I have read Middle Game before. I fell in love with it all over again. I wanted to reread this because I wanted to read Seasonal Fears quite soon. And I thought Seasonal Fears was gonna be a sequel to Middle Game, but it's not quite. It's a companion novel. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed Middle Game. It's, I think, one of the best books that you can read during autumn. It has so many autumnal dark vibes, and I love Roger and Dodger together. Dodger has my heart completely. I think she is one of the best characters I've ever read from. Every time I read this book, I had this the first time around and the second time around as well. When I get like to half of this book, I'm like, why did I not give this 5 stars? And first time around I was like, I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I think the ending of the book, the last 200 pages, are a little bit too slow. Not much happens plot wise, and it's like building up to this big huge thing, but it kind of drags out a little bit. So that's why I'm giving this a very high 4 star. Nonetheless, I absolutely loved it. Shauna Maguire is a absolute goddess with words. She writes so magical and beautiful, and I highly recommend that you pick this up during autumn. Then we have the very last book that I read during the month of August, and that was Flashback. This is the 7th book in the Keeper of the Lost City series. This was also a reread for me. I'm doing my own Keeper along, in which we read a book a month in anticipation of the final book coming out in November, which I'm like so excited about. It's called Stellalune and it's gonna be amazing. I cannot believe we already got to the 7th book with the Keeper along. It's honestly been so much fun to read these books again every month, and to see new people fall in love with it, and to discuss these books, and to discuss all the theories that we have. You know, I absolutely love these books to death. This is all about Sophie, a girl that is whisked away to an elfish world in the first one. And she's quite special there. She is the chosen one, and things happen from there. But the relationships in these books, the found family, is just honestly what makes these books to me. And I just cannot recommend them enough. They are such a comfort read for me. And I cannot wait for the new book to come out in November. There you have it. Those are the books that I read during the month of August. I think I did pretty darn good. There are some chunky books in there as well. So I'm very happy with this result. That was it for today. Do let me know if you read any of these books that I have read during the month of August. What were your thoughts on them? Please let me know down below in the comments. Also, I would love to know what was your favorite book that you read in the month of August. That was it. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I am gonna leave you for now, but I will hopefully be back soon with another video. Bye bye!